Your son just called. The baby is here. And something happens in that moment that is almost impossible to describe. A love you didn't know you had capacity for. A pull toward that hospital, that house, that new little person who carries something of you in them. You want to be there. You want to help. You want to be part of it. That wanting is one of the most beautiful things about becoming a grandparent. And it can also, without anyone intending it, become the thing that damages the relationship you are trying to build. Today, we are going to talk about 9 specific things. Things that grandparents do in those early weeks and months, almost always out of love, that quietly cost them. And for each one, we are going to talk about what to do instead. Not theory. Specific, honest, practical things that make a real difference. But before we get to the list, we need to spend a moment understanding what is actually happening on the other side of that door. What is happening to your daughter-in-law right now? There is a word that most people have never heard, even though it describes one of the most profound experiences a human being can go through. The word is matrescence. It was first coined by anthropologist Dana Raphael in the 1970s, and it describes the process of becoming a mother. Not just the physical act of giving birth, but the entire transformation that follows. Researchers who study matrescence describe it as a developmental transition, as significant as adolescence, as disorienting, as complete. When your son's partner gave birth to that baby, she did not just become a mother, she began the process of becoming a different person. Her brain is literally changing. Neuroplasticity studies show that the maternal brain undergoes significant restructuring during this period, with areas responsible for bonding, threat detection, and social sensitivity all becoming more active. Her hormones are in profound flux. Her sense of identity, her relationships, her understanding of her own body and her own limits, all of it is being renegotiated at once. And she is doing all of this on almost no sleep. Here is what the research on postpartum psychology tells us about this period. A new mother's nervous system is in a state of heightened alertness. Things that would normally roll off her, a comment, a look, an unsolicited suggestion, can land with a force that is completely disproportionate to how they were intended. Not because she is fragile or unreasonable, but because her brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, scanning for threats to herself and her baby with unusual sensitivity. This is important to understand before we go through this list, because almost nothing on this list involves bad intentions. Every single thing on it comes from love. But love that doesn't account for what is actually happening in that room can cause real damage. Damage that takes years to undo and sometimes never fully heals. Now, one more thing before we start. You have been here. You know what those early weeks felt like, the exhaustion that went beyond anything you had experienced before, the uncertainty, the love that was so large it was almost frightening, the feeling that you were doing everything slightly wrong and hoping no one would notice. You remember those days. Maybe not in every detail, but somewhere in your body, you remember. And here is the thing worth saying out loud. Your daughter-in-law's version of those days is harder in some ways than yours was. Not because she is weaker, because the world has changed. The pressure that new mothers face now, the comparison culture, the social media perfection, the conflicting advice available at every moment on every screen. None of that existed the way it does today. The advice has changed too. What we know about safe sleep, about feeding, about infant development, much of it is different from what you were told. Not because what you were told was wrong for its time, but because we know more now. She is not doing it differently from you because she thinks you did it wrong. She is doing it differently because the world she is raising this child in is different from the world you raised yours in. Hold that before we begin. 1. Showing up without asking first. Don't arrive unannounced. Even if you live nearby, even if you just want to drop something off, even if your son said it would probably be fine. Here is what an unannounced visit does in those early weeks. A new mother's home is in many ways the only thing she has control over right now. Her body is recovering. Her sleep is dictated by the baby. Her schedule is entirely governed by someone else's needs. The house, who comes in, when, for how long, is one of the only domains where she has any say. An unannounced visit removes that. Even if your visit is short and cheerful and full of love, it creates a specific kind of stress. The stress of not having been able to prepare, not having been able to put on a brave face, or tidy the kitchen, or decide whether she was ready to be seen. And in a period when she is already feeling profoundly vulnerable, that stress accumulates. D.O. Ask first, every time. Not just in the first few weeks, for longer than you think is necessary. A simple message. I'd love to come by this week if that works. When would be a good time? And then respect the answer, even if the answer is not yet. That question, that small act of asking, communicates something that goes far beyond the visit itself. It says, your home is yours. Your time is yours. I am a guest here, and I will behave like one. 2. Racing to hold the baby. Don't. Walk in the door and reach for the baby. Even if you have been waiting weeks, even if your arms have been aching with the wanting of it, even if it seems like the most natural thing in the world, here is what is happening in that room that you cannot see. The bond forming between that mother and that baby is one of the most neurologically significant processes in human development. Oxytocin, the hormone most associated with attachment and bonding, is surging in both of them. That bond is not fragile, but it is new, and it is happening through physical proximity, through feeding, through the specific and unrepeatable hours of those early days. When you walk in, and the first thing you do is reach for the baby, you are, without meaning to, inserting yourself into the center of that process. The new mother may smile and hand you the baby. She may not feel she can say no, but something in her registers it. Do. Walk in and go to her first. Ask how she is. Sit down. Let her lead. If she wants you to hold the baby, she will offer. And when she does, hold the baby and then give the baby back. Not because you have been asked to, because you are paying attention. The grandparents who build the strongest relationships in this period are almost never the ones who held the baby most. They are the ones who made the mother feel most seen. 3. Offering advice that wasn't asked for. Don't. Comment on how she is feeding the baby, how she is putting the baby to sleep, how she is swaddling or not swaddling, how you did it, how your neighbor did it, what you read somewhere, what worked with your son when he was small, even if it is correct, even if it would help, even if you are genuinely trying to make her life easier. Here is what unsolicited advice does in the postpartum period. A new mother's sense of competence, her belief that she can do this, that she is doing it right, is extraordinarily fragile in those early weeks. Every piece of advice she did not ask for arrives as implicit information. Someone thinks I am not doing this well enough. And in a period when she is already asking herself that question constantly, the accumulation of that message is genuinely damaging. Dio. Wait to be asked. If she asks, and she may ask you for a lot, because you have done this and she has not, answer honestly and generously. But if she does not ask, stay quiet. And if the silence is difficult, turn it into a question. Is there anything I can do to make today easier? That question gives her the power. It puts you on her side. 4. Staying too long. Don't. Settle in for the afternoon. Don't assume that because she seemed happy to see you when you arrived, She wants you there for hours. Don't wait for her to hint that it's time to go. In those early weeks, energy is the most precious resource a new mother has. Every hour of a visit, even a lovely, warm, welcome visit, costs something. There is the performance of being okay, the hosting instinct that kicks in even when she is exhausted, the managing of her own emotions, her baby's schedule, and now a guest, all at once. D.O. Keep visits short. An hour is generous in the early weeks. Decide before you arrive how long you will stay, and leave before you have to be asked. Say it when you arrive. I'm just going to stay for a bit. I don't want to wear you out. That sentence alone will make her exhale, and when you leave, leave clean. Don't create more work. Wash your own cup. Put things back where you found them. Leave the house as quiet as it was when you arrived. FIV, saying we did it differently. Don't say any version of this. Not we used to put babies on their tummies and they were fine. Not formula never hurt your son. Not I never had a white noise machine and you slept perfectly. Not even a raised eyebrow when she does something differently from how you would do it. Here is the thing about this sentence. It is almost never said with harmful intent. It is said because it is true. You did do it differently, and the children survived. But what it communicates is not reassurance. What it communicates is, I am not sure your way is right. And in a postpartum brain that is already scanning for signs of inadequacy, that communication lands hard. Dio, trust that she has done her research. Trust that her pediatrician has given her guidance. Trust that she is making the best decisions she can for this specific baby in this specific moment. And when something she does makes you genuinely curious, ask, not why do you do it that way, as a challenge. Tell me about that. I'd love to understand, as an invitation. 6. Posting on social media without permission. Don't post a photo of that baby without explicit, specific permission. Not on Facebook, not in the family group chat, not even to show your neighbor on your phone and accidentally share. Not just this one. This one may feel small. It is not small. When a new parent sets a boundary around their child's image on social media, and many do, it comes from a considered decision about privacy, about their child's digital footprint, about what they want to share and when and with whom. When you override that decision, even once, even accidentally, even with the best intentions, you communicate something that will linger long after the post is deleted. I will do what I want with your child. I don't fully respect your authority here. Trust is the most important currency you have with your daughter-in-law right now. Posting without permission spends it in a way that is very hard to earn back. Ask, specifically. Not, can I share photos in general, but can I share this photo in this way, with these people? And when the answer is no, accept it completely. Not with a sigh, not with, I just don't understand why it's such a big deal. With a simple, okay. 7. Using your son as the middleman. Don't call your son to talk about your daughter-in-law. Don't tell him you're worried about how she's doing things. Don't ask him to pass along your suggestions. Don't share your concerns about the baby through him. Don't process your feelings about the visit through him. Here is what this does. Your son is now caught between two people he loves. Every message you send through him, even a well-intentioned one, puts him in an impossible position. He did not sign up to be a relay station between his mother and his partner. And in a period when his primary job is to support the person who just had his child, every request you make of him that involves managing your relationship with her costs him something he cannot afford right now. Build a direct relationship with your daughter-in-law. Communicate with her. Thank her directly. Check in with her directly. If something is difficult between you, address it directly or let it go. Process your own feelings about the situation with a friend, a sibling, a therapist, not your son. 8. Caring for the baby instead of caring for the mother. Don't walk in and immediately take over with the baby while the new mother sits watching. Don't make your visit about how much time you can spend holding the grandchild. This is the one that surprises people the most. Because it seems so helpful. You are giving her a break. You are taking the baby so she can rest. And sometimes that is exactly what she needs. But often, what she needs is not for someone to hold the baby. What she needs is for someone to hold her up. Ask her what she actually needs. And then do that. Make her food. Do the dishes. Start the laundry. Run to the pharmacy. Sit with her while she feeds the baby and just talk, not about the baby, about her. Tell her she is doing an incredible job and mean it. If she asks you to take the baby so she can sleep, take the baby and let her sleep. But if she wants to hold her baby, let her hold her baby. The baby is yours to love. The baby is hers to raise. And here is the thing nobody says out loud. If you want to be truly helpful, make it possible for her and your son to have an hour alone together. Come over, take the baby for a walk, and tell them to go have a coffee. Just the two of them. No agenda, no report back. Just an hour that belongs to them. That hour, that gift, is worth more than anything you can bring in a gift bag. 9. Promising more than your body and mind can deliver. Don't promise to help in ways you cannot sustain. Don't say you will come every day if you cannot. Don't offer to take the baby overnight if your health or your sleep does not allow it. Don't let your excitement in the moment write checks that your reality cannot cash. Because here is what happens when those promises go unfulfilled. It is not just disappointment. A new mother who has organized her week around your visit, who has been counting on that help, who has told her partner, "It's okay, your mother is coming." When you don't show up as you said you would, something shifts, not just for that week, in how much she trusts what you say going forward. But there is something harder than this to say, and it deserves to be said clearly. Some of you watching this are genuinely limited right now. Your health may not allow the physical demands of caring for a newborn. Your mental energy may not stretch to what you imagined. The version of yourself you pictured as a grandmother, present, energetic, helpful, may not be the version you are able to be right now. And that is a grief of its own. It deserves to be acknowledged, but it also deserves to be communicated, not minimized, not hidden behind vague excuses. Honestly, with love. I want to be there for you in this time, and I need to be honest about what I can actually do. Here is what I can offer. Here is what I can't. That honesty protects the relationship. It allows them to make other arrangements. It means that what you do show up for, you can show up for fully, without the shadow of what you promised but couldn't deliver. And if you are in a position where your physical limitations are real, but your financial situation allows, consider this. Sometimes the most generous thing a grandparent can do is help fund a solution they cannot personally provide. A postpartum doula, a few hours of help a week, meals delivered, a cleaning service for the first month. This is not buying your way into the relationship. It is being honest about your limitations and still finding a way to show up. Know your limits before you make your offers. Say what you can do what you say. 9 things. And you may have recognized yourself in some of them, perhaps more than you expected to. None of them make you a bad grandparent. Every single one of them comes from love. The showing up unannounced, love. The reaching for the baby, love. The advice that wasn't asked for, love. The staying too long, love. Love that hasn't yet learned to ask what shape it's needed in. That is all this is. Love that needs a little direction, because here is what is at stake in this period. The relationship you build with your daughter-in-law in these early months will shape everything that comes after. How welcome you feel in that house. How much time you get with your grandchild. whether you are someone she calls when things are hard, or someone she braces for, whether your son feels torn between the two of you or held by both of you, this is the foundation, and foundations are set early. You have more power here than you may realize. Not power over them, but power to shape what this becomes. Every time you ask instead of assume, every time you leave before you're asked, every time you put her needs ahead of your own wanting, you are building something, slowly, invisibly, but durably. And one day, not so far from now, when that child is old enough to know you, they will know you in the context of a family that works. That is the gift, not the visits, not the gifts. The family that works. Before you go, one question. Of the 9 things we talked about today, which one felt most familiar? Not the most comfortable to think about, the most familiar, the one you recognized. Leave it in the comments, because if you recognized it, there is a good chance something can still change. And the parents in this community who see your comment might need to know that their child's grandparent is someone who is willing to look at this honestly. This has been Family Bonds After 60. Take care of yourself. And remember, the most important thing you can do for your grandchild right now is make their parents feel supported.